as a part of the playlist C for beginners. Previously I covered the different topics. That means once the flow chart is ready, that is which is finished in programming practice and techniques. Same flow chart or same algorithm if you want to implement in a C language. Already I explained some concepts like data types and standard input output functions and operators and control flow statements. So if you know all these four concepts, maximum all the programs are possible, but still there is some more concepts are required based on the problem definition. That is, suppose if the problem definition will be like this: accept a number and check whether the number is a prime number or not. So these concepts are enough. That is the standard input output functions, data types, operators, and then control flow statements. Suppose the problem somewhat changed like this: accept two numbers and check both the numbers are prime or not. In this case, what happened? You have to repeat the prime number logic for second number also. To overcome this problem, we can use the next concept, that is the functions. Function, the proper definition of function is in a program to perform particular task number of times, which is having more number of statements. Instead of writing those statements number of times, you can define a subroutine called function. The purpose of function is a reusability. Function has three parts. The first one is a function declaration, also called a function prototype. This you have to specify before the main. And the second one is a function calling. This you have to specify within the main function. And the next one is a function definition. This you have to specify after the main function. And what are the different categories of the functions? The first one is the functions with no arguments, no return value, and the second one is the functions with the arguments, no return value, and third one is the functions with the arguments and return value. So generally, most of the people said that there is a fourth category also there, that is the functions with the no arguments, return value. But with my experience, I don't find out any proper example in that case. That's why I'll discuss only three. And Google also announced that the functions categories are only three. Why? Because without passing any arguments, how we can get the value from function definition. So that is the main situation over there. And once you can, while giving the function definition, we can use some syntax, that is a type specifier and followed by the function name and followed by the list of arguments, and you can use the function logic as the statements. And to return the value, so what is a type specifier? Type specifier represents what type of value the function is going to return. If the function cannot return any value, you can represent with the void, otherwise you can use the related data type. For example, if the function can return integer value, there you can use a type specifier as integer. Suppose if the function can return a character type, you can use a type specifier as a character. Suppose if the function cannot return any value, you can represent with the void. Suppose if the function can return the value, to return the value you can use the different formats of the return statement. You can use a return variable, or you can use a return 1, or you can use a return 0, or you can use a return expression. Expression in the sense any formula you can use. On the return conditional expression is nothing but a conditional operator. And while working with the functions, you can pass some arguments also called parameters. The parameter passing mechanisms are two types. One is a call by value and the next one is a call by reference. The difference between these two is in case of call by value, you can pass the actual values of the variables as an arguments. In case of call by reference, you can pass the address of the variables as an arguments. If you want to work with the call by reference, the function arguments must be pointer type. That we will discuss in the coming topics. And one more difference between call by value and then call by reference is, in case of call by value, the actual values are not affected. In case of call by reference, the actual values can be affected because addresses are changed, so that the values also change. So that's about the theory part of the function. In the next video, I'll give some suitable examples for different categories of the functions. In this section, I will give some examples on different categories of the functions. What are the different categories of the functions? Functions with no arguments, no return value. That is the first category. Second category is of functions with arguments, no return value. And third category, functions with arguments, return value. Come to the first one. Now what's my requirement is, I want to display this output. I want to display the message, welcome. Based on the number of characters, you can display a line by using hyphens. So in welcome, it contains 7 characters. This is my required output. So this is a possible. This is a possible with the help of ordinary method also. Ordinary method also like this. So the required output is, first you have to display 7 hyphens. This is for first line. And next one is, in the next line you can display the welcome message. And here itself you can use one more slash at the end so that the cursor goes to the next line. Here you can use the 7 hyphens to display the next line. Now save this file. To display welcome message. Suppose if the person can ask, I don't want to use the 7 hyphens in the printf statement, how you can modify this program? Same program is modified. That means by using in printf, I want to use only 1 hyphen. But the printf statement has to be repeated 7 times. If you want to repeat any statement number of times, you can use the concept of loop. For I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 7, I plus plus. This is for this printf statement. And here also I don't want to use the 7 hyphens. Here you can use the for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 7, I plus plus 7 hyphens. So this is also display same output, right? So this is another way. Now in this case what happened? So in this case what happened? The for loop is repeated and printf statement is repeated one more time. To overcome this problem, I can use the function. Same problem, I will explain with the help of a new. I will try to open a new file. So while working with the function has the 3 parts. Function declaration you have to specify. Function name may be anything. The first category of the function is functions with no arguments, no return value. Here I try to give the function name as a line, and within the main function calling, first I want to display the line so that I am calling the function. So in the next line you can display welcome message. Go to the next line. Again you need a line one more time. Again you can call the function. Now what is this function? You have to give the definition. So this line is a user defined function. With the help of this function, I want to display the line. So that same loop which I used in previous program, same loop I try to use here. Use only 1 hyphen. And save this file. Save as type of the name as this and then and so it will display the same out. So that's about Functions with no arguments, no return value. Example. The category of the functions, that is the functions with arguments, no return value. I will explain with the help of this example. Suppose I want to accept the two numbers and check both the numbers are prime or not. Already I have seen, or I want to check both the numbers are even or odd. So first of all, I try to define a function. The function name is an even num. It has only one argument. And come to the main, you can accept both the numbers. At a time by using single scanf, I can accept both. Because of accepting two values, you can use the two format specifiers for number one and then number two. And the address of the number one and the address of number two. After that, you can call the function by passing num1. And again, you can call the function by passing num2. Now we can use the definition for what is num1, what is even num. You can use the definition. So this function cannot return any value, but this function having an argument. So as usual, according to mathematically, if the number is divisible by 2, that is even. Now, whatever the number one you are passing, that number one value is available in the x. Here you can take the decision making. If x modulus 2 equal to 0, front of the next line, you can display the output is even. For this percentage d, you are getting the value from x. Else, the next line, you can display it as an odd. Now compile it and then F11 for compilation. Give the values for number one and then number two. Set 12. And the next one, you can go to 7. So 12 is even and 7 is odd. Like this it will display. Here, what happened? Why you go for the functions? So this if x modulus 2 equal to 0, this even number block is not repeated. Suppose if the function is not available here, you have to write the logic like this. If n1 modulus 2 equal to 0, print even, else odd. Again for the same logic for n2 also. To overcome this problem, you can use the functions. When the third method is required, that is functions with the arguments and return value. That means if you want to use the value which is generated by the function, again within the main program, main function, then the function must return the value. So I will do some little bit modification in the previous program. What is the previous program? Just you are checking whether both the numbers are even or odd. Now what's my requirement is, if both the numbers are even, I want to display addition of two numbers. Otherwise, I want to display subtraction of two numbers. So how this is possible, I will explain with the help of this example. Now the function can return the value. So returning the values are different formats. You can say return variable or return 1 or return 0 or return expression or return condition expression. In this case, I can take ones and zeros. The number is even, I try to return 1. If the number is odd, I try to return 0. So the function can return integer value. Now the function name is same, even num. This is the function declaration. Come to the main function. Accept both the values. Along with To maintain the status of number 1 and then number 2, whether it is even or odd, you can take additional two variables, status 1 as well as the status 2. After that, you can accept both the values. And accept the values. Anytime you are accepting, so that you can use the two format specifiers. But first percentage D, you can specify the address of a N1, and the second percentage D, you can specify the N2. After that, you can call the function, because the function can return some value. That value you have to store in the status 1. The function name is a even num. This time you can pass the N1. And the second number status has to be stored in S2. Even num. It's a number 2. Now what is the question? If both the numbers are even, so in case of even, I try to return 1. So that definition I try to specify here. Whatever the n value you are passing, that n value is available in the variable x. Same as the previous logic, but there you are displaying whether it is even or odd. Here you can return 1 or 0. If x modulus 2 equal to 0, simply set that return 1. Else return 0. That's about the problem. Now, once it will return the value, there is a continuation. That's why the function, I am expecting the return value from the function. What is the continuation? If both the numbers are even, that means it's s1 equal to 1 and s2 equal to 1. That is the meaning of this. In case of even, it will return 1. If both the numbers are even, in the sense s1 value is 1 and the s2 value is 1, what is the expectation value? Printf display the sum of two numbers. For this percentage D, you are getting n1 plus n2. Suppose if any one of the value is not even, you can display subtraction of two numbers. Now for this percentage D, the expected value is n1 minus n2. Like this. It will display. Even num. There is a problem on define the reference to even num. That is error over here. F11 for execution. With the values 12 and 16. 12 is even, 16 is even. So if it is both are even, you have to add these two numbers so that it will display the output as 28. Once again, it try to execute. One is odd, next one is even. It will display subtraction of these two numbers. So in such type of cases, for accept the function must return the value that based on that value you are taking the decision making in the main function.